Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Natira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Shishi Radha Madhava Ki Jai. I'll give class on one condition. You don't record it. No.
It was private.
Private? It goes on the web. It goes on the internet.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not private. Huh?
This one.
Oh, from a scholar.
Maraskalan.
Thank you. Is it just you? I'm giving you a personal class. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yeah. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Canto 1, Chapter 4, Text number 4. Tasya putra mahayogi samadrin nirvikalpakaha ekantamatir unidro Gurdo murdha iveyate Tasya putra mahayogi Samadrin nivakalpakaha Ekantamatir nidro Gurdo murdha iveyate Tasya putra mahayogi Samadrin nivakalpakaha Ekantamatir nidro Gurdho murdha iveyate. Asya putra mahayogi Samadrinivakalpakaha Kantamaturnidro Kurdo murdha iveyate. Word for word, please repeat. Tasya, his, putra, son, Mahayogi, a great devotee, Samadrik, equibalanced, Nivikalpaka, absolute monist, Ekantamati, fixed in monism or oneness, Unidra, surpassed nations, Gudha, not exposed, Mudha, stunned. Stunted. Mudha, stunted. Iva, like. Ijyate, iyate, appears like. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His, Vyasadev's son, was a great devotee, an equibalanced monist, whose mind was always concentrated in monism. He was transcendental to mundane activities, but being unexposed, he appeared like an ignorant person. Purport. Srila Shukadeva Goswami was a liberated soul, and thus he remained always alert, not to be trapped by the illusory energy. In the Bhagavad Gita, this alertness is very lucidly explained. The liberated soul and the conditioned soul have different engagements. The liberated soul is always engaged in the progressive path of spiritual attainment, which is sometimes like a dream for the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul cannot imagine the actual engagements of the liberated soul. While the conditioned soul thus dreams about spiritual engagements, the liberated soul is awake. Similarly, the engagement of a conditioned soul appears to be a dream for the liberated soul. A conditioned soul and a liberated soul may apparently be on the same platform, but factually they are differently engaged, and their attention is always alert, either in sense enjoyment or in self-realization. The conditioned soul is absorbed in matter, whereas the liberated soul is completely indifferent to matter. This indifference is explained as follows. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Malitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Kurochi Vachalam Pangun Lagate Ganam Yakipatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, Yanisha sarvabhutanang tasyam jagarti samyami yasyang jagrati bhutani sanisha pashito manehe. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-controlled, and the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective sage. So this is the situation between the materialists and the spiritualists, that they are completely opposed the activities of both persons are completely opposed to each other. You know, some people they say that can't we have a little bit of both, the best of both worlds? You know that. Yeah, we can do our spiritual activities, but at the same time, we just want a little bit of enjoyment, a little bit of sense enjoyment, just to, keep us going through the day. But actually, the example is given that it's like having 1 foot on land and 1 foot on a boat. 1 foot on land and 1 foot on a boat. What happens? On boat. Yeah. What happens when you put 1 foot on land and 1 foot on boat? The boat moves further away and you fall in the water, right? Yeah? So it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So it's like trying to have spiritual life and material life, but trying to keep them both together is not possible. Not possible. Yeah. So the fact of the matter is that the more we increase our spiritual activities, the more our desire for material activities decreases. And the more our desire to engage in material activities increases, then our desire for spiritual activities decreases.
One is fulfilled, another is defeated.
Yes. Juggling between both doesn't work. It is like trying to light.
It doesn't work simultaneously.
Yeah, it is like trying to light a fire and pour water on at the same time. It doesn't work. So there is, although from the external point of view, it may seem that the activities of the spiritually awake person and the activities of a materialist look exactly the same. Like the materialist, they go and shop for boga, for vegetables and fruits, grains, and the spiritualist also goes to shop for vegetables, fruits and grains. But their motivation is completely different. So this is an interesting dynamic, that the materialist, they are fully immersed in endeavoring to satisfy their own senses. But one who is on the path of self-realization, they are simply interested in satisfying the senses of Krishna. So this is there's a gulf of difference between the two. What is that verse? Bhukti mukti siddhi kama sakala ashanta. How does that verse? Yeah. What is the first line? Krishna bhakti nishkama ate eva shanta. Yeah.
To the devotee of Krishna. That's why he is peaceful.
Yes. Yes, so it is only the devotees of Krishna that can attain real peace. Why is that? Because it is said, param drishtva nivartate, that they are experiencing a higher taste. That they find it very easy to give up the temporary pleasures of this material world. And the bhaktas, the devotees, they are absorbed in devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Para, the 9 processes of devotional service. Therefore, they do not take their material desires seriously. Desires may be there, but they don't take them seriously. Yeah. So it is very reassuring, actually, that to understand that as a spiritual being, we are different from the mind, we are different from the intelligence, and we are different from the body. What that means is that we do not have to take what comes into our mind seriously. We do not have to take the demands of the body seriously, although we should satisfy the demands on a basic necessity, like, for example, eating, sleeping. These have to be satisfied. But nonetheless, it is a great relief to understand that the desires that come into our mind, we do not have to act on them. It is not necessary to act on them. And by continuously chanting Hare Krishna, we will actually get this realization. It's not enough to theoretically understand this. We have to practically realize it. Unless we practically realize it, then it's very, very difficult to not take the demands seriously. So the example that my spiritual master gives, about material desires, he says that it is like if you are driving, and there is a huge mountain, right? Now, in the distance, you see this mountain, it looks very, very small, when you're for a long, long way away. But as you're driving towards the mountain, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So similarly, material desires in the mind, they start very small, and then they get bigger, and then they become, it's like all-consuming. It's like you can't think of anything else but this thing, But what happens, you're driving in the car, and the mountain gets bigger and bigger and bigger, but what happens? When you drive, you keep on driving past it, and then it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Yes? So similarly, our material desires, they start small, they get very big, until we can't think of anything else. But we should be rest assured, it is only a matter of time before they get smaller again. So when they are all-consuming and it feels like there's no way we can deal to this, it is at that time we have to hang on to the Hare Krishna mantra for dear life. We hang on to the instructions of the Guru, the instructions of the Sadhu, and by chanting Hare Krishna as our life and soul. And by doing that, that gives us the qualification, it gives us the tolerance to be able to overcome material desires, to be able to defeat material desires. And actually, in the Shikshashtakam, this is why we chant Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtana. This is the supreme victory. When you chant Hare Krishna, take shelter of the Hare Krishna mantra, when you are being enamored by material desires, and then you're able to surpass, to conquer those material desires by chanting, hanging on to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. This is Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. And every single devotee should have their own victory. And then there is an individual victory, and then there is the all-pervasive victory. You know, by Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, not only do we have our individual victories of conquering over material desires, but it's victorious in bringing conditioned souls to Lord Chaitanya's mission. So it is all victorious. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So in this way, the devotees are always victorious, but we just have to hang on tightly to the instructions of the spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada explains in the Bhagavad Gita that to the verse, let me find this. Yes, Vyavisaya Maka Buddhe Ekeha Kurunandaha Bahu Shakasya Nantascha Buddhayo Vayasayanam. That those who are resolute in purpose, their aim is one. O beloved child of the cruise, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. So Srila Prabhupada said that he got great inspiration from Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary on this verse. You know, that he said that the goal, our one-pointed attention, should be simply to take the instruction of the spiritual master as one's life and soul. You know, in that way, one will attain all perfection. Like we chant every morning, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittete Koriya Aikya Arna Koriya Mane Asha. You know, that my only desire is to make my consciousness one with the words emanating from the lotus feet, the lotus mouth of the spiritual master. You know, so this is the instructions of the spiritual master. They will give us all success in spiritual life. What is that verse? Gosh, man, can't remember the verses I'm thinking of. The Sanskrit escapes me. By having complete faith in the spiritual master, all the imports of the Vedas are automatically revealed. I forget. No. It's quoted in Bhagavad Gita. Jai Shri Shri Krishna Balaram Ki Jai. All the imports to the Vedas are automatically revealed. Yeah. Yeah, he quotes it. Yeah. So yes, the importance of taking the instructions of the spiritual master as one's life and soul. It is the secret of success It is Yata Deve Tatagaro
Yasya deve
Parabhaktir Yata Deve Tatagaro Tasya Te Katitaryata Prakashante Mahatmana. Yes. Upanishad, yeah. Svetasvarta Upanishad? Yeah. Svetasvarta Upanishad? So, yeah, pretty sure. Yes, so this is very, very important. Actually, there are so many verses explaining the importance of the spiritual master, the instructions of the spiritual master. Svetasvarta. Yeah, that's what it is.
Just you 623 watts.
Yeah, thank you. So yes, the instructions of the spiritual master are one's life and soul. You know, that the more we take the instructions of the spiritual master as our life and soul, to that degree we will advance in spiritual life. You know. And just as by taking the instructions of the spiritual master as one's life and soul, one makes spiritual advancement, similarly, if we disregard the instructions of the spiritual master, our spiritual life will be finished. Maya is very powerful, very powerful. And our only defense against the material energy is the instructions of the spiritual master. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, gosh, I can't remember. Mamavayadara, yeah. Mamavaya prapadyante mayametantarante. How does the verse start? Daivi yesha gunamayi mamamayadaratya mamavaya prapadyante mayametantarante. Yes. This material energy of mine is very difficult to overcome. But for those who have surrendered unto me, it can be easily crossed over. You know, so this surrender to Krishna means to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. You know, we cannot. The spiritual master is the direct representative of Krishna. Sakshat Dhiritvena Samasta Sastra. Yeah. So the spiritual master being a direct representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we should take his instructions as if Krishna himself is instructing us. And Krishna is very, very kind. He knows what's best for us. Krishna, he knows what is best for us. Krishna knows what is best for us. Krishna knows what's best for us. He is the Paramatma seated in everyone's heart. He knows what we need. No, just in general. So, yes, Krishna is sitting within our heart as Paramatma. He knows what we need. He knows what our desires are. You know, therefore, he tells the instruction. Yes. So he tells. Srila Prabhupada was asked this question once. He said, you know, do you know everything? I know. And Srila Prabhupada said, no. He said, the spiritual master knows everything what Krishna tells him. You know, so the spiritual master wants to do his service nicely. The Krishna from within the heart tells the spiritual master how to engage a disciple in a particular way. You know, therefore, Krishna is Suridam Sarvabhutanam. He is the well-wishing friend of all living entities. So therefore, by following Krishna's instruction, we become purified in heart, you know, and from that purification, we can, that will reveal Krishna to us, reveal Krishna's energy, we will be able to perceive Krishna's energy like you are residing in the holy Dharm of Govardhan. Yeah, it is said there is a very thin veil of Maya covering the Dham. And you can understand this. You know, you can feel that the atmosphere here is very special.
Yes, Prabhupada understand also. Prabhupada say.
Yeah. But in order for the Dham to be able to reveal itself to you, yeah, you have to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. So it's very, very important. So yes, one can overcome all difficulties in life simply by this one thing of following the instructions of the Guru, the bona fide Guru. Yes. Any questions?
Someone coming to Krishna consciousness, but his bad habit, he coming to Krishna consciousness and he sure I do not, I never would do anything, any bad activity which is my past activity. But sometime it's coming and it's bothering to bothering to his. So what to do?
Srila Prabhupada was asked this question. He said, specifically in relation to sex desire.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, so Srila Prabhupada was asked, I'm by one of his disciples, I'm suffering from sex desire, what should I do? And Prabhupada said 3 things. He said, you simply tolerate, you simply tolerate, and you simply tolerate. I know that's not the answer you wanted to hear.
But right now, in the modern way, there is so many disturbances. The smartphone is more disturbance that way. What to do in that way?
So it's not just that you tolerate and take shelter of chanting Hare Krishna. We say that Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, it's all victorious. So you don't think the holy name is more powerful than your material desires?
We have no faith, that's why.
Yeah, so you need to get faith, that by chanting Hare Krishna, it will defeat your material desires. Whether you are in the Brahmachari ashram or the Grihastha ashram, you have to conquer lust. You have to get rid of lust. It is not that every time you're in the Grihastha ashram, when you experience lust, you can have a child. No. Otherwise, you'd be had 20, 30 children. It's not possible. So you have to learn how to tolerate in the Brahmachari ashram or the Grihastha ashram.
How to tell the urge of the lost.
Huh?
Urge.
Beg?
Urge.
Yeah, like conquer the sex urge. So in the only difference between the Brahmachari ashram and the Grihastha ashram is that the Brahmachari ashram is the cheaper ashram. Grihastha ashram is more expensive. And the Brahmachari ashram can be better facility for absorption in devotional service. I'm not saying that there's not that facility in the Grihastha ashram, but a lot of, at least the man's energy and time can be invested into maintaining wife and children, working. So a lot of that energy is used, that could be used solely for Guru and Krishna, can be used for a wife and child. Wife and children. But nonetheless, both ashrams are very glorious. They are Krishna's system. This is Krishna's system going through the Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyas. Every ashram is glorious, provided that one follows the rules and regulations of that ashram. Then purification will happen. Like if one is a brahmachari, but one is not serious and they're always meditating on the opposite sex, then this is a joke. It's a. But if one has a sincere desire as a brahmachari to conquer lust and to absorb the mind and senses in devotional service, then this can be a very fast way to go back to Godhead. Similarly, Grihastha ashram, also one must follow rules and regulations. If one does not follow rules and regulations of the Grihastha ashram, then many unwanted children can come and cause big disturbance. So either ashram, whatever ashram one is in, one has to be very careful to follow the rules and regulations. In that way, one will overcome material desires and go back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Okay, another one. Okay, we know we're coming I am a beginner. If I am coming here for desire to please Krishna, but sometime it will be maybe in the first time when I coming and first 1 year 2 year it is very more just to please, and then it is
Sorry,
gradually
can you start again, please? Can you start again with that question?
some devotee are it's an example of mine. Even when I am coming here when I join in Krishna consciousness, at the time I have so many jobs. Jobs means utsah. Jobs means eagerness.
Eagerness.
Eagerness to please devotee and Krishna and
Hmm.
doing nicely and everything. But gradually it is being decreased. No?
Hmm.
The more years after 1 2 years,
Yeah,
gradually decrease. What
yeah,
happened?
yeah. There's simply aparad.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the problem.
So how to identify where Raj is being done?
When we first come to devotional service, when we look at devotees, they look very bright, effulgent, But yes, because of aparad, because of familiarity, this word familiarity, so because we become familiar with the devotees, we can make offenses, and also, most importantly, is the offenses to the holy name.
Holy name.
Holy name.
If there is name in offense in holy name, you have to chant more for the.
In order to get rid of the offenses to the holy name, you have to chant more, and you have to be very, very careful to chant attentively. Be present when you are chanting.
That's going in my life.
Yeah. So, if you chant this one thing, if you focus on being attentive in your chanting, all other offenses go away. This one thing, be attentive.
My chanting.
Yes. Yeah. Your mind, if it runs away, bring it back. I learned one shloka recently. Mana sangharanam shaucham maunam mantrata chintanam. What's the next one? Avyagratvam anirvedo japa sampati hetavaha. This verse is from the Hari Bhakti Vilas by Sanatana Goswami. Yeah, he says that in order to perfect chanting your japa, this can go for either Hare Krishna or Gayatri mantra, your Diksha mantra. anything. For chanting japa, 6 qualities one must develop. 1. Mana sangharanam, harness the mind. Keep bringing the mind back to hear the holy names. Mana sangharanam shocham, cleanliness, internal purity and external cleanliness. Very important. Maunam, silence, but this silence, it means without distraction. That means no mobile phone, no mobile phone. That means in a quiet place, no distractions. Yeah, this must be there, because it is your time with Krishna. We say Krishna is non-different from his name. He is there when you are chanting. Binatvam nama nama no. So it is your personal time with Krishna. No buts. No buts. There's no buts.
No, the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, you have no qualification to do in the place of where no one is having no one. You have no qualification to do bhajan there because it is cheating bhajan.
Oh, but that's if you just chant. If you're just there chanting Hare Krishna. That in other words, you should work, use your senses, engage your senses in devotional service. Srila Prabhupada said, work now, samadhi later. So we have a strong, fit body. We should use it in Krishna's service, not just sitting down, hearing and chanting. Nam bhajan. We do that in old age. So, yes, mana sangharanam, shocham, maunam, mantrata chintanam. Yeah, so you meditate on the meaning of the Hare Krishna mantra. You remember what Srila Prabhupada's translation to Hare Krishna mantra is?
Hare means the internal potency, potency of Krishna.
So when you are chanting Hare Krishna, what are you doing?
I'm not remembering. I'm just remembering his face whenever coming out, looking.
No. You should, when you are chanting, your mind should be fixed on the mantra, but at the same time you are thinking, oh Radha, oh Krishna, please engage me in your service. This is our meditation.
Whenever I was doing this type of, sometimes it became vanished. I don't know what to use. Oh, it's very big. It's very lengthy.
Hare Krishna. So then, mantrata chintanam, then avyagratvam means without haste. No, you shouldn't be chanting just to get your rounds done. You should be very careful in chanting. Srila Rupa Goswami says this in the Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita. He says, Yaspa nubhava makalashuti saramekam adyamatipamat. No. How does that verse go?
Even doing carefully chanting, attentively chanting, it takes more time.
It doesn't matter. It takes the same amount of time to chant an inattentive round as it does to chant an attentive round.
But it takes maybe 2 hours, 40 minutes more, 40 minutes more. But in 60 rounds, many devotees finish up within 2 hours.
But you have to chant with attention. It doesn't matter if it takes all day to chant 16 rounds attentively. You have to do it. There's no question. If you chant attentively, then you will naturally speed up over time. Because purification of heart happens. Yeah, like when I was chanting for 2 hours, 16 rounds for 2 hours for many, many years. I couldn't get faster than 2 hours because I wanted to chant properly, And then suddenly, I went to 1 hour 35 minutes. 25 minutes quicker. I couldn't believe it. I was like, really? but I feel like I'm chanting at the same pace, you know. And then recently, just doing the Prabhupada Marathon, it went even faster. It went to less than 1 hour 30 minutes. You know, so just by simply chanting attentively, then naturally you will become faster. But if you keep on allowing your mind to wander away, it's not good. So this, okay, so Srila Rupa Goswami says, Syat Krishna Nama Charitari Setapya Vidya Pitopatapta Rasanasya Narojikanu Kintva Ramanu Dinam Kulachaiva Jushta Swadvi Kramad Bhafatidad Gadamula Hantri. You know that nectar of instruction. The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one who is afflicted by the jaundice of avidya, ignorance, cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue and the disease is gradually destroyed at the root. So the emphasis is on carefully. You know, by carefully chanting the holy names, all avidya gone. Yes. All ignorance gone. So it is essential to chant with attention. No haste, no rushing around, patience. You know. So there's
In the morning time, when we are doing japa, at the time, many of days I was falling asleep. This is sleeping or coming in the morning time, chanting to do for that.
huh?
When I'm going to in the morning time chanting session,
Mm-hmm.
after some rounds, maybe 3 or 4 rounds, after some I'm falling, I'm sleeping or coming.
So you have to. There's many things you can do. Splash your face with cold water. You can go outside and get some fresh air. You can pace up and down, you know, but you must stay awake and stay attentive. If you make the effort to do that, Krishna will give you empowerment.
At the time, I never able to do any effort. I put in the look in that watch.
Hmm?
At the time, when I'm going falling asleep, and the sleep all is coming, I'm just leave the chanting and going to sleep.
Best is
I
trying.
never able to surpass the arts of the sleep.
So yes, it is best to get all your sleeping done at night, you know, so you get fully rested. And then, if you do start to fall asleep during japa, do something about it. You know, like splash your face with cold water, get some fresh air, pace up and down. You know, just do something to try. You know, make an effort. Okay? Gantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande.